Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are. I just wanted to come in and give us an encouragement today, following the post from my friend Eva of her struggles as a single mother. And I just remember when I was reading her post, I just remembered one of the posts I had done before, which was also inspired by a sermon from church. And it's just in advance, knowing that we were loved in advance before the struggles even began. And all the struggles we go through, it doesn't surprise our Father, because even Jesus himself, in John 17:24, he says, Father, I want those you have given to me. You have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. So we see that even Jesus, he admits that he was loved in advance. Him as God was loved in advance. And us who are made in the image of the Father, we were also loved in advance. So whatever you do, just know we were loved in advance. It's the same way you tell someone, thank you in advance. And so know that you have been loved in advance. Yeah, so from the very beginning, he knew that it was part of his identity and nothing could take that away from him. Whether the world rejected him, persecuted him, didn't see him as worthy, he knew that he was God's beloved, God's beloved, and all the other things didn't matter to him. And I think for us as humans to get to this point is really difficult, because sometimes we walk with this confidence of like, yes, 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 we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. I was loved in advance, and then something hits us. And then, of course, we are humans. We go back to the valley and we think, oh, we are unworthy. Oh, I'm covered in shame. Oh, I am condemned, and all that. But I just wanted to encourage us that we were loved in advance, and we need to walk in this confidence, just like Jesus. So a question I would love to ask is, do you know why you're in the season you are in at this very moment? Yes, even your heartbreak. It's always nice that even in the moment of the season, despite, it doesn't matter which season it is, like for us to, reflect and see, God, why am I here? Instead of asking why, instead of asking why, it's like, what should I do here? Because we will never get the whys. He'll never really respond with whys, because like Job, he answered him with questions like, are you able to command the sun to shine and the stars so we can't question him, but I think we can twist the question and say, open my eyes to see the reason for me being in this season. So God is all powerful, and he's not surprised by any of our life seasons or events that come our way. He knows us and knew us even before we were created, and he has prepared something for us in advance for us to walk into or choose to follow. So I'm going to just read a prayer. It's kind of a prayer and an encouragement that I wrote during that time, just to anybody. First, it's to the mamas, but yeah, it's for anyone. You can pick out an encouragement for it. So, to the mama who feels lonely, abandoned, and unseen, unshamed, unworthy, and unheard, to you, please know today and forever, you can walk in the confidence of at least knowing that you were loved, seen, known, and heard way in advance before your existence. And there's a plan in place in God's storyline, because he knows your heart. To the mama who doesn't know whether to add her angel baby when asked whether she has kids or not, or how many kids she has. To the mama overwhelmed with her kids' schedules and undone laundry. To you who sacrifices yourself, but your kids are too young to appreciate or thank you for your efforts. You are enough and loved in advance. To the mama coming home to an empty closet that was once full of baby clothes, you are loved and thought in advance. God sees the tears you've cried out, as many as you emptied your angel's nursery. To the mama who hasn't entered her angel's baby room or her own bedroom since the passing of her baby or husband or relative, you're not abnormal. You're in pain that is beyond this world's understanding, and God is and will give you, and God is and will give you rest and comfort that will bring you joy inconceivable. To the mama who's walking with her shoulders low, with the Lord too heavy that you've been carrying for so long, know that you were loved in advance. To you, mama, who's exhausted to come out of your emotional drain, to the emotional drain you fell into, and everybody is saying, get over it. You are loved and seen. To the mama who feels lonely, ashamed and unseen, unworthy, unheard, please know today and forever you can walk in the confidence of at least knowing that you are loved, seen, known, and way in advance before the existence. And there's a plan in place in God's storyline because He knows your heart. To the mama feeling she's not enough because she's too overwhelmed and hasn't managed to serve her kids the Martha Stewart dinners, but only managed cereal on certain days, you're appreciated and you're doing an amazing job because you love your children. To the mama crying herself to sleep because of loneliness, because of constrained children, husband, or waiting womb, you are loved and seen in advance. To the mama with an empty cradle nest, God foresaw your yearning heart and sees the numerous attempts at fertility to no avail. He sees your heart failing in despair, but still sees, loves, and knows and hears you. To the mama falling into debt, struggling to make ends meet, and wondering where the next meal will come from, God saw this in advance and wants to give you rest. God has heard your wordless groaning of your heart, calling for breakthrough in your homes and finances. To the mama who doesn't feel beautiful because of the standards set by this world, may you know that your identity is in Him. He chooses you, calls you His own masterpiece, and that's what matters. Lean on the things unseen because those are eternal. In advance, God knew about your broken heart and heartache. He is not surprised of the fear that engulfs your mastered faith and causes you to be wary, wondering where He is when you most need Him. In advance, God knew the loss, despair, and pain that has befallen you. He knows your broken heart and how hard it is for you to love again. As hard as it is to understand, your broken heart is a part of His storyline. But in His storyline, mourning is temporary and joy in abundance is your portion. To the mama who hasn't drawn her curtains the whole week or left her house for a long time and her head has been buried in her pillow, soaked in her tears, God sees, hears, and knows what it is to be lonely and rejected. But He calls you His beloved and chooses you. To the mama who feels like she's always the last one on people's hearts and minds and lists, God chooses you first. If it was only you, He would still die for you alone. To you, mama, serving people in the open and also behind the scenes and feeling overwhelmed, God is your reward. He has the whole storyline in mind and has already seen how the story ends. So nothing is ever a miss or last choice. Everything fits in His perfect plan and doesn't take Him by surprise. To you, mama, suffering in silence, I say, just be held and let go by letting down all your anxiety, worries, and stress at His feet because God has seen it all. The struggles to make everything work, your hard work, you're being taken for granted, you being the talk of town and ashamed because of the infertility, failed marriage, misbehaving kids, failed job, just as He created a solution to save mankind beforehand by providing His Son way in advance to be a sacrificial victor. He is working behind the scenes to bring you victory and healing. To you, mama, rest in His love because He loves you way in advance. God bless you and have a very beautiful day.